Hello, wonderful people. I'm going to have a look at Ulver, a Norwegian experimental electronica band founded in 1993 by vocalist Christopher Rigg. The early work was folklore laced with black metal. Ulver is Norwegian for wolf. They evolved into experimental music, a mix of ambient, trip-hop, symphonic, prog, and noise. Berglat was the first LP in 1995. It means spellbound, and it's a dark fairy tale. It is described as mysterious, melancholic, eerie, and oddly tranquil. Sounds like David Bowie. Current members are Rigg, Tor Utzacker, and Jorn Sveren. They were captivated by the poetry of William Blake. In 2009, they went live and recruited musicians to play parts that had been overdubbed into the studio. Ole Alexander Halstengard is now a prominent member, and they have done well, selling 500,000 records and have been Norwegian Grammy winners. Shadows of the Sun in 2008 won Album of the Year. Their music has been described as Wagnerian. They are certainly avant-garde, but if this music predicts the future, we are all truly doomed. Tora Tahora. But this music is also inconsistent with the other black metal bands in Norway in the 90s, more true to the actual Scandinavian folk tales so revered by the kids who tried to burn the churches down to bring back paganism. Perhaps they'd be better served listening to Ulver, and I'm sure that many of them did. Someone had to account for the 500,000 units sold. Their early work was on the Head Not Found label. Kaisensanger was next, but now Ulver was using classical guitars and cello instrumentation. It was very organic. Instead of electric guitars, that is, but critics felt it was not sophisticated enough to be part of the classical oeuvre. The public bought the music regardless what the critics say. Hey, it's just like here in the U.S. Ulver signed with Century Media in Germany for their third album, Nathan's Madrigal, and this effort would make them known internationally. The album was more like Bergtat, the Kvedsangler. The lush instrumentation was absent. In its place was the raw and grim blackest of black metal that could turn Elric of Melnibone Scarlet glance into a flame. Fans were confused by the flip-flopping, but headbangers got it and climbed onto the Stormbringer bandwagon. You should definitely read some Michael Moorcock. I recommend the Eternal Champion series. Century Media was quick to reissue a box set of the trilogy. Ulver switched labels to Jester Records. They now intended to put out a prog album. Critics were damnatorized. But funny, the critics caught on and dug it. William Blake is known even to rock critics, apparently. Was there a backlash from the black metallurgy? Perhaps. But guess what? Ulver does their own thing, like Bob Dylan did to folk purists in the 60s. What goes around comes around, children. What you get for torching those beautiful old churches. Ulver admitted that their first and their third albums fit with the black metal scene, but they were only meant as stepping stones to further experimentation. If we put out music that doesn't fit into your world, you don't know us, and you never did. was their chilling response. They're just using their inside voice. Next up, soundtracks.